Harbor Township in the top half of the first inning. Left fielder Dylan Salisbury.
Welcome to Hermits Broadcasting. EHT taking on St. Augustine Prep here. And we have Trey Abbey on the mound, sophomore pitcher, number 21.
Yeah.
So,
oh, good.
You got it, Mr.
I was going to
Brumell.
say, Abbey pitched against Millville earlier this year, someone away. Throwing strikes. Young sophomore pitcher getting the opportunity today. I know they have like some of their big dogs that you normally hear the top of rotation, kind of saving them for tomorrow. Gloucester Catholic, Thursday, the winner or loser of Iona and Malvern, whoever we play, and then hypothetically on Saturday you might have Adele Barton to Seton Hall or something like that in this Mid-Atlantic Classic. So Abbey getting the opportunity to really kind of prove himself, but with a couple of injuries to the Hermits pitching rotation, like Soupy's out, I know, at least for throwing for right now. I know Mason Walls is a little dinged up. It's an opportunity to go win a job. Show them that you can throw important innings as you get into the Diamond, the Cal, and all those other big tournaments that they're going to be in.
And also Isaac Torres getting to play second base here for the Hermits after an injury to Brady Jackson.
Yeah, so they moved Gilson over to third. Williams is short. And then he's in there at second base. He hasn't really batted. They've DH'd for him, but today with Trey Abbey as the switch batters. With Trey Abbey as the pitcher, they're going to DH for the pitcher. So I don't know if Torres hasn't at bat this year, but if he has, he hasn't had many. So it'll be a good chance for him to swing the bat. The same thing, maybe show him, hey, you don't always need to DH for me.
The ball comes right at us, Mr. Brumell.
Yeah, luckily we got the fence here, although the camera is slightly exposed. I always do get a little nervous on that one.
And a walk there for Trey Abbey. Start the game off. See if he can battle back here against Eli Casey, second baseman.
Hey, how's it going? As soon as that starts.
First baseman Chase Battersby.
All right, we're good.
All right. Chase Battersby up for EHT number 26. And runners on first and third.
And sorry for the technical difficulties for a second. Our audio kind of went out. I had to reset it. Let me get the scoreboard back up.
Good? Okay. And Battersby fouls it off to the right side. Runners on first and third.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if you call that a safety squeeze as much as a suicide squeeze. It wasn't look like the runner was really breaking on as soon as he squared, but he was obviously pretty far down the line as they tried to bunt. So trying to manufacture a run here in the first for the Eagles.
Yeah, Abbey's has limited experience, so it's going to be interesting what he does here, how he battles back.
What, they got one out, I think, on the strikeout?
Yeah, we have one out.
Yeah, so EHT already ran a one, so did they send the runner again? Did they try and just steal a run? You know, if DJ throws it down to second, like, do you just give up the run? You try and do one of those like plays where you throw halfway, otherwise
And they go for the bunt there, and it's going to be 2 strikes on Battersby.
Yeah, again, but again, so it's not a suicide squeeze because obviously he wasn't running, more of a safety. But that was well out of the strike zone. He still offered at it. So
trying to put the ball in play there.
Yeah, I mean he must whatever sign he got from his his coach must have been like, yo, try and lay the bunt down no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get runs against the Hermits, so they're going to try to do their best. And a good knock there from Battersby, and that'll bring in a run.
Yeah, seeing eye single wasn't hit the hardest, but with Edis holding the runner on the bag, he's not able to kind of cover some of that space in the hole as quickly as you would normally. And the ball just kind of squeaks through, and it takes the right fielder a minute to get in, field the ball, so the runner's easily able to go from first to third.
Yeah, that was a good knock there by Battersby, putting the ball in play. That's what EHT wanted to do right there. And next up, and DJ Lloyd, again, very, very good behind that plate, keeping the Hermits alive all game.
Yeah, EHT squared the bunt till they got strikes on them. Last time, squaring the bunt again. I have a feeling it's not for show if they were about to do it last time in this exact same situation until they got 2 strikes on them.
Yeah, they definitely practiced that. And number 42, Logan Benson, up right fielder, having a good season here for the EHT Eagles. And this is a tough situation for Trey Abbey. He's going to have to battle his way out of it.
Yeah, one of the things that should always give you confidence is the way the Hermits have been swinging the bats.
Another bunt there.
But the way the Hermits have been swinging the bats, can give you some room for error. So you just got to kind of bear down, throw strikes, try and get the out. I know sometimes you get rattled a little bit trying to be too perfect. You see the bunts, coming around. I think you just kind of, like I said, get it over the plate, throw strikes, let your defense help you out.
And a strike there for Abbey.
Yeah, good curveball, catches the outside part of the plate.
Nasty pitch there from Trey Abbey. He's fighting. Another curveball, and that will get bases loaded here for EHT. And I wonder what you're thinking if you're Abbey on the mound. You have to try to fill the strike zone up, not walk anybody, but at the same time, you don't want to leave it over the plate for a dangerous play. So it's going to be interesting what they do here.
Yeah. I'd rather not walk in a run. I'd almost rather give up a double than, walk a guy or two. It's just kind of like, it's whatever. Demoralizing doesn't really give you a chance to do it. So I know, like you said, you'd rather not leave one out over the plate, but you got to come in a little bit. You can't really afford, any more free bags.
Yeah, totally agree. We're going to have to get the bats going. The Hermits have been great swinging the bat, so I know they'll find a way to tie this game up, but it's going to be tough if they get into a hole here. So,
yeah, you don't want to put the pressure on your offense, if you don't have to. The Hermits went down 4-0 after the first inning against Eustis, and they came back. But that's you don't want to have that pressure to hey, we're down 4-0 after a half an inning, every game.
Nice strike there. That's a ball, Mr. Rommel? Was that a ball or strike?
No, he called a strike.
Oh, strike. Okay. Correction, strike there from Abbey.
Sometimes you got to learn the cadence of the umpires.
Yeah, it was kind of tough to read there. And another strike there from Abbey, and that's what we were talking about. You gotta pump in the strike zone, even though you don't want to give up a hit here. You can't get a walk in. So this is also the end of EHT's lineup. So maybe a soft ground ball, get 2 here, whatever the case may be. And that's 2 outs here.
Yeah, big strikeout, too.
Big strikeout there for the Hermits.
And there he's located. Honestly, he said, hey, do you come in a little bit and worry about them hitting? But Abbey was hitting the outside part of the plate 2 or 3 times on that at-bat. So he found his location there.
And that's a soft ground ball to Edis, and that will be out number 3 for the Hermits.
Yeah, I'll call that a win to give up 1. Way to fight there from Abbey to limit the damage and keep things moving.
Yeah, that'll take us into commercial here, and we'll see you next inning.
For the Hermits in the bottom half of the first inning, center fielder Alex Weingartner.
Alex Weingartner up for the Hermits as we go into the bottom of the first inning here. The #1 ranked player in New Jersey in the class of 2026, having a great season.
Yeah, like we talk about this all the time, but he's a dual threat, pitcher. Can throw 95, but he's tears the cover off the ball, batting like 500 against Eustis. He actually hit one. I don't think I'd seen it before. I think it hit the top of the. It somehow got under the windscreen, like those blue screens up there. There's blue screens up there, like hit on the top of it, kind of got stuck. So it was a ground rule double. With his speed, he would have been easily at third if that ball doesn't get caught in there. So, been swinging the bat well early going. The only problem is sometimes when you're that good, a lot of teams will not pitch to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're doing that right here, 3-0 count. It's dangerous to put over the plate against Weingartner. He'll let it loose, and that's a walk here.
Sometimes when scouts will come out to games, they'll actually more interested in seeing you take some cuts in the batting cage before the game because they know they're not going to see anything. I mean, like EHT's at least as of right now, unless he comes up with guys in the on base, they're like, let's not let Weingartner beat us.
Yeah.
So if a scout's here, he's going to look at it and be like, well, I'm going to watch him take 4 pitches and drop the bat. So a lot of times they'll just watch them take their cuts in the cage before the game.
Strike there for EHT. And Brody Taylor, freshman sensation here for the Hermits. And he's tearing it up, hitting second here as a freshman.
Yeah, not easy. Actually, come to think of it, I mean, we've had some freshmen in the lineup, like DJ was when he first got there. Weingartner's brother played as a freshman, maybe early sophomore. Kenny Lavari fought his way in the lineup at the time the Diamond Classic went. But if they were batting and not getting DH for, like Torres, they were 7, 8, 9 in the order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can recall a freshman, at least since I've been here, 2014, 2015, 2016, starting then.
Yeah.
You've had a freshman bat this high in the lineup.
Yeah, it's high praise here. And I went to Ocean City for my first 2 years, and we had a guy, Evan Taylor. And I remember watching him when I was in 8th grade. He was hitting 3 as a freshman.
Yeah, that's not easy. And Ocean City's just got a pretty good team.
Yeah, and he went to Alabama. He was similar to Weingartner. He's just a freak.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, he was something special. So there's guys like that can really play.
If you're playing baseball in the SEC, you're doing something right.
Yeah, yeah. Number 27, Chip Clooney, with the strikeout for Taylor, and that'll bring up DJ Lloyd, catcher.
Catcher DJ Lloyd.
And we have a great lineup. It's very tough for pitchers to keep up with this lineup.
Yeah,
Williams and Lloyd and Weingartner and Taylor. It's a nightmare to verse these guys.
And it's kind of interesting too because not everybody played last year. The Hermits had that ability to kind of reload, not rebuild. You know what I mean? So Taylor, a freshman. Weingartner, obviously, he's been starting since he was a sophomore. Lloyd's been in the lineup, usually not this high, but Adam Williams on deck. He was tearing the cover off the ball when he was pinch hitting, but, they had some guys in the lineup last year that were just seniors, a little bit older,
yeah,
a little bit more experience.
And that's a shot by Lloyd, and
down the line. Yeah, that drops in for a hit. That's what we saw everybody. I thought maybe the wind must have carried it up. It kind of blocked our view with the dugout.
Yeah.
But I feel like the wind caught it up because if you looked at Weingartner, he was going back to first base and then kind of looking around. I was like, oh, wait, never mind. It started running second. So,
Courtesy runner.
they only advanced one bag, but, Weingartner was, I would only say, 5 feet from first base by the time he saw DJ there going, yo, dude, it's, the ball's going to drop in. So we couldn't quite tell from our angle whether it was an error or hit. I think it would end up being classified a hit, even if it kind of lost it in the wind. But either way, 2 men on.
Yeah, this is the way that the Hermits bounce back. This is the lineup we know. Adam Williams up, senior, shortstop. And that's a pop-up there for Williams. That should be routine for EHT.
Yeah, just got under it. Kind of dipped his shoulder a little bit in the off-speed pitch, popped it straight up. So
1 out for Soupy, the Miami commit for pitcher. But he was, first game that we announced here, he had a nice home run. So this guy can hit a little bit.
Yeah, a little chilly, a little wind blowing in today. So if you hit a homer today, you earned it.
That's tough, yeah. Yeah, Soupy built his way up through this lineup. He was the 9-hitter to start out originally, so he's been working with the bat. And that's gonna be
Pop foul.
Yeah, it's gonna be a foul ball for Soupy.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was going to get out of play or not.
Yeah.
Long run for the right fielder.
Yeah, Soupy's impressed me hitting the ball. I always thought of him as more of a pitcher, but he's really stepping up here for the Hermits.
Yeah, Hermit's got a couple guys like that. As a sophomore, Weingartner, I thought was going to be more of a pitcher than a hitter, but you have even Luke Tanzola, kicker on the football team.
Yep.
Like last year, he's a pitcher. He's getting some innings.
And that's going to be a wild pitch there, and that's going to advance runners second and third.
Yeah, single score too. But yeah, like Tanzola was the same way. He was playing some outfield. Like you think of him as a pitcher, but then it's like, hey, no, I can swing the bat a little bit too.
Yep.
Hermit's got a lot of corner outfielders fighting for time right now.
Yeah.
But Soupy obviously one of them.
And that's a ball there for EHT, 2-1 count. That's a ball down to me, 3-1 count here for Ethan Soupy. This is a good situation here for the Hermits. They got their back in the lineup coming up, some young talent, and they got 2 men on. So if we can get Soupy on, it should be good inning for us.
Yeah, look to drive a pitch. Hitters count. Runners in the corners. See if he can't give you something.
Yep. That's going to be a ball in the dirt. That's going to make it 1 out, 3 men on.
2 outs, right?
2 outs.
Yeah.
2 outs.
So we got Taylor strikeout and Williams infield fly.
Yep, nice. Yeah. And John Edis up for the Hermits, the first baseman. It's going to be a ball down.
Another one of those guys that's going to throw a lot. So they've been kind of using, with the Soupy injury and stuff like that, they've been using Edis as the number 2 starter. Tanzola coming in relief. But, gave up a couple runs early against Eustis and really settled in. You kind of see why he's like another highly touted recruit thrown in the 90s.
Yep. This pitcher really needs to find his groove here against this lineup. It's tough going against these guys, and if you leave one over the middle, they can do some damage. So we're going to see how this plays out here.
Well, yeah. I mean, as much as you don't want to leave one over the middle, you got to throw strikes like we were talking about in the top of the first.
Exactly.
And so you don't want that same scenario. I'd rather you give them. I mean, as whatever. If you're rooting for EHT, I'd rather give them a pitch to hit, where maybe your defense can make a play than walk a guy.
That's what's going to happen here. It's going to be walking for a run as Prep ties it up. 1-1 with bases loaded. Weingartner crosses the plate.
Third baseman Austin Gilson.
Austin Gilson steps up. He's been doing pretty well hitting the ball, and they're going to have a meeting at the...
Yeah, had a double late in the game yesterday or on Saturday versus Bishop Eustis. I forget if he drove in the tying run with Taylor, or if he was one of he had a big hit to help tie the game, send it into extra innings. We'll see if he can't come through here. Again, a pitch, meeting the mound for EHT because it's similar to the Hermits. It's been similar innings for both teams in this first. If they're able to get out of this here, EHT with only giving up 1, it's basically the exact same thing. You gave up 1, you left the bases loaded, but this is the difference. Can you get timely hitting? That was the difference in the Eustis game. Can you get 1 hit here that would be the difference between tied 1-1 and up 4-1?
That's what baseball's all about. Is that's a wild pitch there for EHT. And Gilson was my player of the game in the first game of the season, opening day against Millville. He just did his job. He's composed, and he really makes a difference out there, I believe. That's going to be 2 balls for Gilson. Kind of a nightmare situation for EHT as they just can't find a way to get out of this inning. And Gilson fires one. That should be a... Drops. That drops. Interesting play there as that will score.
Yes, so that's a 2 RBI single for Gilson. I think if we're all being honest, it's quite generous to be called a single. But
Mason
like,
Barelko.
I think he got way under it. I mean, you can tell the wind's whipping. I'm kind of holding on to our tent right here, making sure it doesn't blow away. But when off the bat, I was like, oh, it's a can of corn. You know, the center fielder's going to be right under it.
Yep.
And I think the second baseman thought the same thing too. Like, he came in to cover the bag.
Yeah, the wind really blew it in.
Yeah, where you saw the ball land, it almost should have been the second baseman's ball.
Yeah, well, I think that you don't expect coming off the bat always looks farther than it's going to go. So you always want to play it like a little bit deeper, I guess. But the second baseman just covered the bag, and that's tough. That's tough out there.
Yeah, and I don't know if he would have got there, but like just from our vantage point back here, it almost looks like he could have, or at least had a better shot at it than the center fielder.
Exactly. Ball up for EHT.
Another good thing about getting a couple runs here is, like, you know, like we said, they're throwing some, you know, inexperienced arms today, or guys you don't normally use. Scoring 3 runs in the first helps you breathe a little bit.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Like
some relief out there.
Yeah, like you know, if Abby gets in a little bit of trouble, you can, hey, we got a couple runs to play with.
Yeah, we're good.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it is hugely beneficial. And I saw they had Mason Walls in the bullpen, but you know, the 3 runs I think probably gives, you know, Abby a little bit longer of a leash.
Of course. Yeah, we need those young guys in innings where pitchers are in, you know, you talked about innings, you only can pitch like 90 pitches or whatever, and you need to like have relievers and dudes that have fresh arms for these type of games, you know, against Gloucester and all those teams. So it's good to have young arms with experience, not just throwing them out there, you know, when they need to, you know, innings. So
yeah, so Corelco up at the plate was the hero of the game against Eustis.
Yes, yeah.
2-run bomb in the 8th to win it.
Ooh, another high. Interesting play by the catcher, just throwing it back.
Yeah, they tried to see if the Hermits were running a play of like, hey, you know, Corelco's down in the count, so you might try a little trick play, send the guy to second. If they throw down, send the guy home. But so they just fire it back to the pitcher, see if you can't catch the Hermits being a little too aggressive. But again, instead, it's another runner in scoring position for Corelco.
And yeah, like you said, the hero for the undefeated Hermits, and that's going to hit them. Bases loaded here for the Hermits.
Big spot for freshman Torres.
Yep, we were talking about him in the warm-ups earlier. He's
second baseman Isaac.
You're good.
He's been doing a great job filling in as Brady Jackson dealing with a little bit of an injury, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does here. The freshman. And
I'm trying to see if this was his first at bat of the year or not.
It's a ball down.
Yeah, I don't see him on NJ.com, so I think this might be his first at bat of the season.
Yeah, this is a great spot to be. I mean, it's a lot of pressure because it's going to be your first at bat, first time seeing live pitching, but it's an exciting spot for a hitter.
Yeah, and I'm sure he got plenty in, like, you know, when they're tripped to Disney and stuff like that, but you're right.
Yeah. And that's going to be a rollover, and that's trouble for EHT, and that's going to score 2 runs as the Hermits, known for scoring runs, they get 2 there, and this is trouble for EHT.
Yeah, ground ball in the hole. Third baseman can't quite get there. I think the shortstop might have been able to if it got through, but it couldn't. Third baseman couldn't quite get there. Hits his glove, and when it hits his glove, the shortstop was already running, you know, full sprint into the hole, so he couldn't get there to, you know, recover for it. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you know, 2 more runs score.
And they're going to hit through with Weingartner coming up, and this is going to be dangerous pitching to number 8. And that's smashed. That's what Alex Weingartner does, puts the ball in play in big positions, and that's going to be another run for the Hermits, 6-1.
Yeah, I was just about to say before he hit the first pitch right back up the middle, like, hey, you're already down. You already gave up 5 runs or whatever. May as well throw him a pitch. I know you walked him the first batter of the inning, but you could give him something to hit here, try and get an out, and he lines that, you know, just right back up the middle for a base hit.
It's so refreshing playing, you know, with a big lead because it lets you play free. It lets you play, you know, with your, you know, just loose, and lets you, you know, do things you might not normally do in a tight, you know, situation. So again, like you said, for you know, Abby and, you know, these young guys, it's going to be a lot of fun for them. Just go out there with the bleed, and they don't really have to worry about making mistakes. They can just go let it loose and have fun. As Taylor 0 for 1, but get another shot here with 2 outs. It's going to be a strike there.
Yeah, lefty on
For
lefty
Cooley.
matchup.
And Chip Cooley pitching for EHT. They're going to go, and Weingartner should be there. And interesting play. Torres thinking about going home, but stops
Yeah, I
it.
kind of realized it too late. I think the Hermits were assuming that they could take second just like they did before when
Yep.
EHT threw it right back to the pitcher. This time they threw all the way down. Actually, I don't think it was supposed to because the pitcher made an attempt at it. It was just too far over his head.
Yeah.
And then the ball squirted away from the shortstop a little bit, and that's where Torres started to think about going home, but was well too late
Yeah.
to actually send him.
Ball up for EHT. The meat of this lineup coming back up, and Brody Taylor looking to have some damage here on this next pitch.
Out in front of the changeup.
Strong cut there.
Yeah. I mean, he's a strong kid. Like I said, he had a home run earlier in the year. I mean, he's a state qualifier. Was in Atlantic City for wrestling at 190 pounds. You know what I mean?
This
Like,
kid's big.
yeah, but that's like a weight class where it's like
For
you're facing
seniors.
juniors and seniors,
Seniors,
yeah.
yeah.
And he's strong enough to hold his own, and he won a lot of his matches on his strength. So, yeah, those big cuts there. If he makes contact, that ball's going somewhere.
DJ Lloyd up, catcher, senior, 4-year starter, and they might have a pitching change here for EHT against Lloyd. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, this is what's going to happen exactly. Number 13 for EHT coming in to pitch.
Yeah, you know, we'll have his name and information when we get back. But we'll be right back after this pitching change.
We're back. Roman Giaccona up on the mound for EHT. Number 13.
Yeah, former Hermit himself.
Ooh, that's going to hit Lloyd in the head. And that's going to walk in a run for the Hermits. 7-1.
Yeah, so Roman, a junior, pitched a good amount for the Hermits JV last year.
Shortstop,
But
Adam Williams.
that's what I mean. Like, this might be some of his first varsity innings. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he got some innings earlier this season, but it's not an enviable position to be thrown into. You know what I mean? You come out, the bases loaded, you're cold, windy day.
Versus your former team.
Yeah, letting that first pitch slip a little bit away from you.
That's going to be a knock there for Williams. That's going to bring in 2 runs, I believe, as Taylor's digging home. He's going to be up. That's going to be 9-1 for St. Augustine with 2 outs. This turned into a scoring fest for the Hermits. 9 runs in the first inning. I haven't seen that, I don't think,
Left
ever.
fielder Ethan.
Yeah, the
Soupy.
Hermits have been out slugging people. I mean, like I said, there's a couple injuries in their pitching rotation, and the first outing for Edis was a little rough, but he kind of figured it out. But like a couple of the games so far, they've just been out slugging teams.
Yep. Ethan Soupy, the junior, number 17 up. It's gonna be a strike there.
Because even Weingartner, like his first outing, kind of threw more pitches than he wanted to. So you get pulled early, and you're in the bullpen. The Hermits have probably given up more runs than they were really hoping to coming into the year. When your offense is hitting like this,
it's okay. Have a little lead in. Have a little bit of leadway there with your pitchers you throw in when you have a great lineup. That's the luxury of having great players.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's not so much of a rebuild. It's like reloading every year. You find guys that come in or, are in your system, and, it's kind of like how the Eagles do. They just have homegrown talent that they're, feel comfortable with, and it's a lot of fun when we see them come into their own.
Yeah.
It's going to be a time here. Not too sure why, but we're going to get back with one strike on Subi.
I think the pitcher was kind of checking the signs, checking the runner in second, was making Subi sit in the box a little long, so Subi took time out.
That's going to be – that looked great coming off the bat. Kind of just got lost up in the sky there.
Yeah, drifted foul.
Yep. That's weird about baseball. Right off the bat, it can look like it's going to go home run, but it kind of flares off a lot of times.
That's where I had that terrible home run call for Adam Williams the other day where I thought he popped it up and I lost the ball in the air. It turned out he wasn't running very far because he launched it over the fence.
Yeah, kind of trying to pimp it a little bit maybe. And that's going to be right back at Giaccona. He's going to dig it out. That's going to be 3 outs as the Prep leads 9-1 and leaves 3 on base.
9 runs on 5 hits, no errors, leaving 2.
We are back here as Abby stays on the mound. Got himself into trouble first inning, but we got a big cushion here. So he's going to just let it fly as Weingartner tracks it. Great catch by Weingartner as he lays out for it. Kind of Mike Trout-esque.
Yeah, sliding catch, showing that speed, why he's one of the top center fielders. He played first base for the Hermits the last couple of years. But that just athleticism lets him get to the ball.
That's a great play there.
And if we've seen anything from the win so far, yeah, I would be playing in a little bit if you're anybody.
Yeah.
But phenomenal play by Weingartner to go make that sliding catch.
Yeah. Just natural instincts. You're kind of taught as an outfielder to go step back first step, so he really hustled in there to get that. That should have dropped 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. A bunt here, too. We'll get EHT with a
Diggs
runner on
one out.
first.
Fielder,
Yep.
Dylan Salisbury.
It was a great placement of a bunt. I think Gilson was a little far back at third. I mean, it was not that was just what they were playing. They were playing deep at third, and so
Yeah.
Abby was the first one over to get there, but not able to throw him out in time. So smart play, great bunt there by EHT to try and make something happen.
It's interesting because Millville came out doing that too, so it's something about the bunting against the Hermits. For some reason, people really like that strategy.
I wonder if it's like, hey, you know, they got great pitching, so
Yeah,
you
try
know,
to make them work for
yeah,
it.
Yeah, and that is one thing that I changed my mind on over the years. Is, you know, in the MLB, I'm kind of like, don't bunt, you know, you're
Yeah.
giving them an out. Like, I don't like it that much. But in high school,
Put the ball in play.
you have 14 to 18-year-old kids playing the base. You know what I mean? Like, someone's bound to make a mistake. So I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? Like, you put the ball in play, third baseman might throw that one in the right field.
Yeah. And back picked. He should be gone right there.
Ooh.
I
I
think he was out there, but it's nothing to argue about.
Yeah, I think the throw kind of. You're right. The throw was pretty good. The kind of blocked. The home plate unblocked my view, so I couldn't quite tell if he got the tag in or not.
Looked pretty
But,
good.
Yeah, you could see the look on DJ's face where he was kind of smiling, like, "Ooh, man, I don't know about that one." And that's the thing with high school too, is you only got 2 umps, so like the umps making that call from behind the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough play. Trying to give EHT maybe some leadway here. It's going to be a great pitch. Oh, that's safe.
Yeah, that one is definitely back in time. But DJ making sure they don't get too big a secondary lead.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a catcher that I haven't really seen that in high school baseball as much, the back picking.
Yeah,
so he's been doing a good job with
He
that.
loves it. He's done it the last few years.
Yeah.
But you're right, you don't see that too often.
Yeah, you don't. And a curveball kind of just hangs. I don't think he's going to get him at second, but that should be not at first, and that's
Yeah.
2 outs.
The ball, the runner, it was so softly hit that by the time Torres got there, the runner had passed, and you weren't getting the double play. They barely got the guy at first because, I don't know, the last 2 guys from EHT had some speed. But yeah, Hermits get the second out of the inning there.
2 outs here for St. Augustine. And another bunt attempt for EHT. High ball here for Torrey. And that's going to be sliced. Watch your head. Yeah, it's been really fun to see watching the Hermits hit. They bring a lot of juice to games, and they're always in it with that lineup. Two outs here for the Hermits. A hanging curveball is going to be a ball call.
Yeah, I think he just left it a little high. But that was a good pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, EHT has nothing to lose here. That's a scary team to play. So we're going to have to, you know, keep getting these runs on, piled on. 3-1 count here for.
Yeah, so he tried the curveball
Abby.
again. Wonder if he'll come back with something.
If I was a sitter, I'd be sitting on that there as he hits it swiftly at Gilson, and that's like you were talking about, 14 to 18-year-old kids bound to make a mistake, and that comes to fruition here for the Hermits.
So EHT will score 1 off the error by Gilson. It was a little low for Edis to pick.
Yeah. It's going to be 2 to
Second
9.
baseman, Eli.
Yeah, good job by Abby getting the good ball in play right to the third baseman.
Yep.
But that's like I said, you just got to make plays once they're
Yeah.
into you.
Put the ball in play. That's something you got to do here. And that's going to be, we should have 2 there. Or
Yeah, that
1,
should
2
be-
outs.
Yeah,
2
that's the
outs.
final out of the inning.
Yep.
They go the short way to second base.
Yep. And
Williams to Torres, and that'll be it for us here in the top of the second.
1 run, 1-1.
And we are back. John Edis to lead it off here for St. Augustine as the Hermits have a commanding 7-run lead on EHT.
Yeah, one of the underrated things about that last inning we were talking about during the commercial break was how many of those hits and runs came with 2 outs. Like, it was 1-1, bases loaded with 2 outs, and all of a sudden it ended up 9-1, now 9-2.
Yeah, it's interesting in high school baseball. It's not quite like the pros where you put the ball in play, like it's a guaranteed out. You know, or to word that better, you know, it's hit to third baseman. It's 99% of the time it's going to be out, right? But in college baseball or high school baseball, you just put it in play and see what happens, dig it out. And
good things will happen.
Yeah. So that's going to be a ball there for Roman Gianconi. Giancoli. Not too familiar. But he's pumping it here for EHT. Got him out of that tough inning they just had. Roman Giancoli.
Yeah, gave up a couple inherited runs, but I don't think he actually gave up any of his own in that last inning.
Yeah, he played pretty well last inning, and this is his former team. He's going to have something to prove after transferring, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a strike there. Yeah, Edis is the Hermits have a lot of players that are kind of like 5-tool. They can pitch, they can play outfield, play first, they can hit. It's kind of funny seeing them because Edis throws about 95.
Yeah.
And he's just playing first. They put him wherever he can get in the lineup. So it's interesting seeing these guys.
Yeah, I think he has the ability to play middle infield too if he needed to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So a lot of athleticism.
Yeah, they have a bunch of 5-tool players, which is, you know, kind of rare on the team. But a lot of guys are, I'm a pitcher, I'm a hitter, I'm this, that. But these guys just want to play baseball, so it's refreshing to see. And Edis is going to dig that one out as a runner goes to first, and Austin Gilson's up.
Yeah, so they threw him off the bag a little bit. And you can kind of see it from here. And the first baseman had to stretch off the bag and then couldn't really reach his foot back to, you know, get the out. So whether you want to say that he would have beaten the throw anyway or not, I don't know if you can rule it a hit or an error. Either way, Edis is on first.
Yeah. So we have one runner on for the Hermits, and if it's anything like last inning, this is going to be a hit fest here for the Hermits. Let's see if Gilson can start it here. He's going to be out at second base, and he's going to bring up
designated hitter Mason Corelco.
Mason Corelco, who had the game-winning hit last game.
It's that last one, ground ball to short. It kind of hit the lip of the infield a little bit, kind of like died right down. They went the short way to get one, didn't even throw to first because he would have been well safe to try and turn two. So, yeah, one out, runner on first still.
Ball down for Corelco. Runner on first. Pop up. It's going to come near our way, Mr. Rommel.
Yeah. Well,
as it almost hits Mr. Rizzo's golf cart. And due up after Corelco, Isaac Torres, second baseman, and then Weingartner, Taylor, Lloyd. So, got the meat of this lineup coming up. That's a nasty pitch, and it's going to be safe at second base.
So one out, runner on second after Gilson with the stolen base.
Yep. 1-2 count here for the Hermits as they're going to try to battle their way. Maybe a curveball or something coming in for him. Ooh, changeup down looks like, and that's going to be...
Yeah, like hit the plate, popped up real high. Either way, Gilson gets the third easily.
Yep.
Infield coming in, yeah.
Maybe a fast. Ooh, that's the curveball I was talking about, and that's going to be out for the Hermits.
Yeah, good use of the curveball, catches the inside corner of the plate for strike 3.
Second
The
baseman,
middle infield was back, and like right as
Torres.
Roman was about to go into his windup, they ran in, played the infield in, trying to prevent a run. But now with 2 outs, they'll back the infield back up as Torres comes to the plate.
Good eye there from Torres, freshman. And it's going to be a ball on the count for the Hermits. That's fouled across the end of the bat. And we have Gilson on third. Torres up. We got Weingartner, Taylor, Lloyd due up after Torres. And let's see if we get a nice hit here, as he's been putting the bat on the ball quite a bit, and that's going to drop. Torres.
Yeah, the RBI single, hard hit in the left field.
Nice hit from Torres.
Yeah, left fielder made a good charge in at it, but realized he wasn't going to quite get there, kind of throwing the brakes at the last second.
Weingartner.
And that's got to be his first career hit, right? Did he walk in the
I believe he got a hit last time, but I think it's classified as an error.
Oh, yeah, maybe one of those kind of like, oh, that was like, it kind of landed in right field. We're like, oh, they might have caught it or not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, well, Torres making the case, saying, hey, leave me in the lineup next time.
Yeah, this is his first at-bats of his young career. And he's doing well, putting the bat on the ball. Coach Nay making a great decision getting him in there as Torres stands on with Weingartner, the senior, up to bat.
Yeah, walked and singled so far today.
Yeah, he's tough to face. Ooh, nice pitch as Torres will get to second easily.
Yeah, swing and a miss. Pass ball there by the catcher. I think Torres is about to start running. Catcher tried to come up firing a little too quickly.
Ball down. 2-1 count for the Hermits. Yeah, like you were saying, Mr. Romero, kind of might change my approach against this lineup. I mean, it's definitely don't want to walk this lineup because you don't want to give them easy runs. At the same time, though, it's tough to kind of pitch these guys, but letting them just put the ball in play. Maybe high fastballs, trying to weak contact, maybe down.
Now, here might be one small exception, like his first base is open.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, like, if you walk him, you walk him. You get 2 outs, you try and get Taylor next. But this is one of the things I do like about the Hermits lineup is putting Weingartner at the leadoff. Because, as the best hitter, you figure, like, your traditional, put him at the 3 spot. Maybe there'll be a guy on when he's whatever. But I like how they're just getting him more at bats. You know what I mean? Because the more odds are he's going to come up with how deep the Hermits lineup with guys on base anyway. You know what I mean? So in the first inning, he got the inning started with a walk. Later in the first inning, he got a single. Here,
another walk.
Yeah, another walk. Like I said, I understand that one, but I like how it's another at bat where if he were the 3-hole or 4-hole, he'd still be a couple hitters away.
Brody Taylor.
All right, Brody is due for a hit, right?
Yep. Yeah, Brody is due for a hit here.
Bring in another 1 or 2. Get us closer to the that mercy rule. I mean, you never want to count your chickens before they hatch, but
Uh huh.
with the wind blowing, I wouldn't hate it if that ended up.
Yeah,
If we ended up being lucky enough to get
chilly.
to that.
Yeah, it's tough against these teams with pitchers that don't throw as fast, and he's gonna dig it out. Ooh.
He beat him by a half a step. Yeah, I do think he was out, but man, that shows you the speed there. But a ground ball to the first
For the Hermits in
baseman,
the second,
Taylor
one
almost
on
beat
one,
it out.
One error, leaving 2.
And we're back as number 26, Chase Battersby, steps up for EHT. And a pitching change here for the Hermits. And that's going to be a hard hit ball to Adam Williams, and that's going to be an out. Quick out for the Hermits.
Yeah, Adam doing a good job since moving over to shortstop with the injury to Brady Jackson. Mason Walls is senior, throws pretty hard. One of those, didn't get a ton of innings last year just because of, how many pitchers the Hermits did end up having. But again, all these games are kind of an opportunity against a solid EHT team to show what you got. Who can throw those innings as you continue on this season? Like I said, when you get into the Cal, the Diamond, we're playing the Mid-Atlantic Classic, this week, state playoffs. Someone's going to need to step up. If you win the Diamond, you're going to have thrown so many pitchers in that tournament.
Yeah.
But this is a good audition for Mason to say, I should be one of those guys.
Nice catch there. I believe that's Ethan Soupy.
Yep.
Number 17, the junior. It's going to be 2 quick outs for the Hermits.
Pinch hitting for Roman Giaconia is number 15, Kenny Del Piano.
Two quick outs for the Hermits. Nice strike there for Walls. And just down as a hanging curveball kind of just sits. I don't know how these guys have short sleeves on, some of these dudes, Mr. Brumell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Freezing. It's going to be a gap hit. Nothing you really do about that if you're in the outfield.
No, it was just a good piece of hitting by the EHT player. I mean, he took the ball where it was in the strike zone, drove it out to the left, and
Designated hitter,
got himself a single.
Yep. Walls. 2 quick outs and fighting here for the Hermits, making a case to be in this rotation. Nice strike there by Walls. 1-2 count here for the Hermits. Ooh, nice, like kind of a golf swing there. As Brody Taylor gets it in quickly.
Yeah, Mason started out strong in the inning, but gave up back-to-back singles. Let's see if he can work his way out of this without giving up any runs.
Yeah. First
third baseman Finn Lamb.
Yeah, Walls had 2 quick outs. Hermits defense working around him, and just good piece of hitting from the Eagles. They're just putting the ball in play and putting it in places where you can't really do anything defensively.
Nice pitch there from Mason. Especially on a day like today, like I said, we're really not going to probably drive the ball too far with it being cold and the wind blowing straight in. EHT doing what they need to do, try and claw back their way back into this one.
Yeah. And that's going to be a pop-up routine. Soupy gets it, and that's going to be send us in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Prep up 10-2 as we send it to
no runs on 2 hits,
commercial.
no errors, leaving 2. DJ Lloyd.
Welcome back as DJ Lloyd steps in for St. Augustine. New pitcher out there for EHT. And Lloyd steps in and he will crush one over the third baseman's head. Base hit there for number 15 senior catcher DJ Lloyd.
I wonder if EHT, especially once they got down like that, if they're going to treat this kind of as like a bullpen
Shortstop,
game.
Adam
You know what I
Williams.
mean? You don't want to throw
Jersey runner for
Gianconia
catcher,
too many
Lloyd.
pitches because then he
Is
can't pitch
number
for,
18,
5
Tino
days.
Trivolini.
So if you throw him 30, you throw the next guy 30, throw the next guy 30. Like, everybody's available in a couple days.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that kind of rechanged the calculus for the EHT coaching staff after that long first inning.
Yeah, and Adam Williams up here for St. Augustine, the shortstop. Hanging curveball. Could have been trouble if he left that a little bit in. Adam Williams. Runner going, and he's gone.
Oh, we dropped the ball.
Dropped it.
Yeah, he was out if
Should have gone there.
if the second or the shortstop can hold on to it.
Yep.
But the contact with the player right as he was catching it is a lucky break for the Hermits.
Lucky break for the Hermits. Bottom of the third inning. Try to get a couple more runs here, Mr. Bromell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be backbreaking when the Hermits get up 12-2, and then we give up a run in the the top of the fifth.
Yeah. Strike.
As I said, at the end of the day, you really still can't count EHT out. Like, they've been a really good team for a really long time and consistently ranked in NJ.com's top 20. The Hermits just swing the bats well today.
This year's kind of different for the Hermits. 5-0. I mean, it's hard to stay consistent in baseball. So the fact they're doing it over this stretch is pretty impressive. As a walk there from Williams.
Yeah, no, you're right, because it's always tough. It's baseball. Like,
Yeah.
it's close games, one error, one hit, one timely hit. Now, they're the tough slate of their schedule is coming up, so it's probably not going to, just like we talked about, it being baseball, probably not going to stay undefeated for forever. But, I mean, if they can somehow win that Mid-Atlantic Classic, that might be even tougher than the Diamond this year with Del Barton, Seton Hall, Pratt, Malvern, Gloucester Catholic in it. I mean, the Hermits got the toughest draw game one with GC, but, that rivalry is always a fun game to watch.
Yeah. Ethan Soupy. Ooh. That's one of those pitches you really want to hit, but you shouldn't really swing at.
Yeah, it was
tough one.
tantalizing, but the bottom dropped out from underneath it, and Soupy swung over top.
Yeah. I believe that's a 2 balls, 1 strike, I believe.
So Hermits
2-2.
Hermits still leading 10-2 here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, this is a fun one to watch. The first inning, if you're a Hermits fan, seeing a bunch of runs. That's a good pitch. Soupy kind of really, I think Soupy's really 1-1 right there, and
Yeah, missed the high heat.
yeah, kind of tough facing pitchers that pitch a
First
little
baseman,
slower
John
when you're used to
Ennis.
people pumping it in. And roll over from Edis.
Foul. The double steal, third and
Yep.
second. He's under the
Safe.
tag, yeah.
Safe as runners on second and third for St. Augustine.
Yep. All right, so now a single score 2.
Yep.
Got us to that 10-run mark.
John Edis looking to put the Hermits up by 10.
You can hear the wind whipping into our microphones.
Yeah, this is tough conditions.
I said, I don't know if you can really see the American flag on that broadcast, but it is blowing more or less straight in from left field to home plate.
Ball away. 3-1 count for John Edis. If I was a hitter, I would be looking for. You gotta make them pitch to you. So
Yeah.
you don't want to be like Ethan, where you're just chasing something. You want to
Yeah.
sit and drive it if you can. There you go. And they're gonna. Bases loaded. Gilson up. This might be a mound visit.
Third baseman Austin Gilson.
It looks like just the catcher, though, kind of calming them down. Not the coaches and staff isn't taking the walk out.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of let them figure it out. And Gilson's up. Maybe a little, if you're EHT, room for them, maybe room for a high fastball rollover. Get double play here. If you're Hermits, you want to just keep this going. Don't chase anything. Ooh. Oh, I'm not too sure what happened there, but I think you'd be all right.
So I think. So he was. They got the force out at home, and as he was looking to throw to first base, I think he pulled his arm back, and that was when the runner for the Hermits was crossing the plate. So I don't really think there was nothing dirty or malicious.
Maybe a
about
stinger, a little stinger. I think you'll be all right.
The EHT coaching staff is asking for interference here, but I think what the Hermits are going to say is he was just running through the plate. You know what I mean? And so the catcher kind of pulled his arm back to throw to first, and that's when his elbow hit the runner.
I will say EHT's doing a pretty good job. Besides giving up 9 runs in the first inning, they're keeping it they're right in it. They're only 1 run allowed since. So
yeah, I mean it might sound crazy when you go except for the 9 runs. In the first. No, but I see what you're saying is if they were to get that out when his bases loaded, like Abby did, you know what I mean? If they were to get that out when his bases loaded, 2 outs, all of a sudden it's a 2-2 game. You know what I mean?
4-2, some more manageable, but
yeah. Well, I'm just saying if you go but you know what I mean? It might be that close. So it's really just kind of one or two things there. Yep. Like we said, the EC's a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're holding them, but it's just tough when you give up one huge inning like that.
Yeah, so I think the umps correctly say not interference after that. Just because I forget who was running for the Hermits home, but he was like, oh, I'm not going to slide him already out, but he was just running through the plate like you normally do, and it just happened to be the catcher kind of pulled his arm back and hit the guy.
And Caricolo. Oh. That's going to be a fly ball. Should be routine for EHT. He catches it. And that's going to be 3 outs for the Hermits as we go to commercial. And we will see you guys next.
The Hermits in the third.
All right, we are back here at top of the fourth. Hermits still lead 10-2. Mason Walls on the mound. Swing and a miss. Now they're swinging in this there for number 7 on EHT. Counts 1-2. Catches the inside corner, strike 3. Delayed call there by the ump, just his normal cadence, but the batter for EHT didn't quite hear it right away. Either way, first out of the inning, as Wall seems to be finding a groove. She squares the bunt again. This one picked up by Lloyd right in front of the plate, fires and gets the out at first base. Had to kind of scoot out in the infield a little bit to not throw it right into the back of the runner. Good play by Lloyd as, again, EHT trying to get something going with the bunt. This time unsuccessful. Walls the curveball in there for strike 1. That one bounces before the plate. Walls finds the inside corner. That one grounded right back to Walls, and they'll flip it over to first. And that'll be it for EHT here in the fourth. We head to the bottom of the inning. Hermits still lead 10-2.
Craig Horber.
And so we're back here in the bottom of the fourth. Isaac Torres steps to the plate. 9-hole hitter for the Hermits. He grounds one to short. Third baseman cuts it off, fires to first, and that's the first out of the inning.
Center fielder Alex Weingartner.
So Weingartner actually being pinch hit for.
Alex Weingartner is number 18, Gino Trivellini.
So Gino Trivellini will get a chance to bat here in the bottom of the fourth. Get always re-enter in later the game, so it doesn't mean Weingartner's day is necessarily done, but a good chance to get some guys some at-bats as Trivellini gets hit by the pitch, takes first base. I'm sure he wanted to swing the bat, but runner on first is the result.
Pinch hitting for Brody Taylor is number 10, Hank Biglin.
So Hank Biglin also entering the game for Brody Taylor. Trivellini hasn't had too many at-bats for today. Biglin has started a few games for the Hermits. Like I said, there's a lot of corner outfielders, or outfielders in general, especially once Soupy starts pitching again. You're going to see a lot of like rotation in there, but you figure, Weingartner and Taylor and Soupy have been the starters for the Hermits. However, if Soupy and Weingartner pitch, that kind of lends to a lot of movement. You move, Taylor around. That's where Corelco got some at bats. Biglin's also someone getting some at bats. Luke Tanzola is another guy that's pretty talented outfielder. So, you got three guys right there who are all three backups in the outfield, but could easily be a starter for a lot of teams in New Jersey. And you're very comfortable with them all getting at bats. So, Biglin stepping into the game here with a runner on first. Takes the breaking ball in for a strike. Breaking ball down in the dirt. The Hermits do find a way to put two across here, and then takes that one in the dirt. It only has to go 4.5 innings, so the Hermits scored 2 here and then shut EHT out in the 5th. The game will be over. I think that's why Coach Ney is getting a couple guys some at bats. But like I said, if EHT does, pull their way back into this one, you can just reinsert Weingartner and Taylor back in the game if you want. That one, the ball scoots away towards the EHT dugout. So the count goes 3-1. One away. Looks like Aiden Flanagan's on deck for the Hermits. As Biglin grounds at the third, but foul. The count goes full. Line delivers inside, so Biglin will work a walk. Reynolds will be on the corners for Aiden Flanagan.
Pinch hitting for DJ Lloyd is number 34, Aiden Flanagan.
Flanagan, the backup catcher, can play a little outfield too. Steps into the box. The EHT will make their defensive calls. Now Flanagan's in. Swing and a miss for strike one. Now they could have batted on away games, but the one at bat I saw here, the Flanagan took so far this season, he lined it, but like right at the center field. So hopefully he can hit the ball hard again. Takes that one for ball. One. Count goes even. Flanagan fouls that one towards the third base dugout. One away. Williams still up next for the Hermits. Ball taken high. Count goes even again at 2. Flanagan drives that into right field. 1 run will score. Bigland on the way to third. Flanagan going aggressive, sliding into second for a double. Ball squirts away, but right to the third baseman. So Hermits almost got that 12th run right there on the double by Flanagan, but that was great hustle by him.
Adam Williams.
To what surely seemed like a single off the bat. Placed in the right spot, just far enough away from the right fielder, and Flanagan using that speed to get into second base. So Adam Williams now comes to the plate. The chance to put the Hermits up 10. Again, EHT will still get a chance to bat in the bottom of the inning. Softly grounded towards first. Bigland does not run as they look him back to the bag, so it'll be 2 outs. Still runners on second and third.
Pinch hitting for Ethan Soupy is number 19, Stephen Foster.
So pinch hitting for Soupy is Stephen Foster. Foster, the EHT resident, has thrown a few innings for the Hermits here, too. Getting in at bat today as he sees first pitch go outside for ball 1. So Foster grounds it into the hole. Shortstop picks it up, throws, beats it out, and 2 runs will score. Flanagan again being aggressive on the base paths.
First baseman John Edis.
So, again, with the scoreboard out, I can't tell if that was going to be labeled a hit or an error, but I think Foster would have beat it out, even though the first baseman was kind of pulled off the bag a little bit at the end. But yeah, I'm going to call that a single for Foster. Hermits go up 11 as Edis pops that one up. And that should be the inning as we head to the the top of the 5th. Hermits leading 13-2.
Township in the top half of the 5th inning. Second baseman.
All right, we are back here in the top of the 5th. So Flanagan stays in at catcher. Michael Sharon goes to the mound for the Hermits. Sharon misses first pitch out wide for ball 1. That one hit into left field. Ooh, kind of misread there by Trivellini, that is, thrown into second, and he will get in safe. I think that ball kind of died on him a little bit earlier than he thought. So I guess you got to count that as a double, but I'm sure it's a little hard luck on Sharon there, as that probably could have been the first out of the inning.
Is number 14, Max Busby.
So nobody out, runner on second. This one popped into right. Right fielder underneath it. Runner looks to tag, but holds. Now Sharon, another one of those guys probably trying to fight for innings here. And he got 2 pop-ups there. Like I said, the one didn't get caught. That one did. But Sharon looking all right through 2 quick batters, both swinging at pitches early in the count. Sharon from the stretch. Delivers. That one fouled away. Sharon steps off, looks the runner back to second. In terms of the mercy rule, that runner doesn't matter too much, but I'm sure Sharon doesn't want to let him in. As he grounds it to short, Williams bobbles it, decides to go quick to third, not there. So I think that short bobble, Williams figured he wasn't going to get the runner at first, tried to make something out of that at third. Either way, everybody's safe.
Pitcher,
still
Alex
one out.
Niska.
One out, runners on the corners. Hermits still lead 13-2. And the stretch delivers. That one grounded again. This one foul. I said Sharon's looked good. I mean, despite runners in the corners, one out. I thought the first one probably could have been caught, and then the second one a little bit of bobble by the Hermits. Even if it would have been a tough play, he could very well be out of this inning. As my hands get colder and colder, kind of wish he was. As he lines it in the right field, that ball will land for a hit. EHT runners only move up 1 base, so they'll get that third run of the game. But the runner on first only advances to second. Here with 1 out.
Designated hitter, Jamie Gonzalez.
So Gonzalez at the plate as Sharon delivers, swing and a miss. The 0-1 count. Sharon delivers again. Fouled back for strike 2. Sharon delivers, fouled again. Count remains 0-2. All right, and Sharon still ahead 0-2 in the count. He's fouled off like 3 straight pitches. As Sharon Wines delivers, that one goes high for ball 1. Sharon from the stretch again. That one misses low, ball 2. The 2-2 count. Sharon delivers, fouled away again. So 2-2, 1 out, runners on first and second. I'm hoping eventually he misses one, but I feel like when you foul that many, a lot of times it ends up being a hit. As he hits that one deep down the right field line, that's going to be foul and out of play. A good at bat here from Gonzalez. He's staying alive, trying to keep the game alive with a hit. Strike 3, foul tipped, but Aiden Flanagan hangs on, and Sharon with the strikeout. And the Hermits are just 1 out away from ending this one early.
Third baseman Finn Lamb.
Sharon Wines delivers, gets strike 1 on the inside corner of the plate. Sharon steps off, looks him back. Sharon almost catches him on the inside. Count goes to 1-1. Wind's starting to pick back up here again. Sharon with the 1-1 count. Stretch delivers into the dirt. Squirted away from Flanagan, so the runners will advance. Counts 2-1, 2 outs, runners at second and third. The Hermits can get out of this inning without giving up any more runs. That will end it. Sharon taking his time. Takes time to get the sign, stepped off. I don't think he realized how cold I am. Sharon from the stretch delivers, looped out to second, but Torres is right there, and that'll do it. Hermits will take this one 13-3.
Egg Harbor Township in the 5th.
And we will see you tomorrow as they host Gloucester Catholic.